And we're back. Continuing, issue 3, the next issue, the Bayonne Local Redevelopment Authority. In the last City Council meeting, not addressed on the agenda, slipped in at 10 p.m. just prior to the close of the meeting. Howard Fish was nominated by the mayor and approved on a 5-0 vote to continue in his term on the Bayonne Local Redevelopment Authority. In light of everything that the BLRA has done in their recent history, what do you think of this last minute slip in, and what do you think of the 5-0 vote? I ask you, Mickey Shemin.
Well, how long is this term for?
It will be a 5-year term.
Hey.
5-year term.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it might be, if somebody gets elected mayor, it may be the shortest 5-term year in history. But in any event, I don't know. Mr. Fitch, I think, does a good job of moderating the BLRA, but I don't know if his leadership capabilities may be called into question. I don't know what they really do. Does the board really have as much input, or the things are made?
Well, they vote on every deal. They vote on every deal that goes. Land
from what
can
I
get sold.
understand, I understand that somebody viewed some of these briefs that were brought as part of this lawsuit, and
I viewed them.
Did you?
I was depositioned by the deposed by the Port Authority.
I was told that the Port Authority deal was kind of rubber stamped by the executive director at the time, without even asking the board anything about it in advance.
That is the claim of the most recent legal documents. Yes, in the timeline they do say that there's some interesting timeline about this. Which even
so is the board just are they just window dressing, or and are these deals made in the back room of somebody else's office in Trenton or someplace, or at the Port Authority?
Which is exactly my question.
But when you look at all these boards, you're seeing a lot of similar type issues. I mean, there's all these kind of subversive things going on these boards. As a citizen, you get the impression that Bayonne has their own skull and bones society.
Yeah, well, that's what Sloan brought out, the fact that he said that a lot of these things should be done out in the open. There's too many closed-door sessions, and Conahan says so too.
Absolutely.
I don't know if Mr. Smith has addressed that issue, but he may have.
Yeah, we didn't have a specific question about the BLRA in our interview, but certainly Mr. Smith said he would encourage new people to come on the boards, as they all did. But again, it begs the question: how much are you going to be involved in the boards? And it depends on who you put on those boards. If someone like myself or Laura or Elizabeth were sitting on one of these boards, we would ask questions about the deals that came ahead of us, and we would want to know, even before they came up for a vote, what they were all about. I don't get the sense that some of these people do that.
Right. I agree. I know that there's several people on that board that I really think are pretty much rubber stampers.
Right.
There are a few people that do a lot of pretty deep thinking. I don't want to say who those people are, but there are some people on the board that are, I think they all try to do a job, but do the job for who is a question.
And I think that people are concerned, with just maligning these boards, and I really believe that we have some very, very good people and good citizens on some of these boards.
Absolutely.
There are definitely a few on the Board of Education, which I'm most familiar with, that are decent people doing the right thing. But I'm not sure that these folks are really given an opportunity, or are any of the board members or the citizens an opportunity to really review some of the bigger issues on any of the boards. Not the BLRA. I don't know anything about the Bayonne Parking Authority except what the notoriety you see in the paper on them.
They were giving out tickets from Point Pleasant Beach last week.
I saw that. That was very good, by the way.
Yeah.
There's the Bayonne Municipal Authority. I don't even know how many. I don't even know how many other boards there are that are these autonomous deal-making entities.
We have to get out of this issue.
I'm wondering,
go ahead.
Where do the Board of Ethics come in? And are they appointed by the mayor also?
Which is it's a good question. They are the ethics
is a
board.
board of ethics.
There is an ethics board. They are appointed by the mayor, and I don't know where they come in. And we have to get out of this issue, unfortunately. And moving to the second part of the BLRA issue, one of the rumors I've heard from a couple of different campaigns and people on the street is that certain candidates might eliminate the BLRA when they get into office.
Well, that's been talked about before. But then they'd have to assume the bonded debt of the BLRA. Too,
Right. Yeah.
Which you kind of do anyway.
You do anyway, yeah.
You know, I mean, if something screws up, you have to assume it anyway.
So, issue number 4, the Rakowski 5000. Everyone thinks of this as a two-horse race, Smith versus Conahan. But one of the things that they don't think about is the amount of votes that former Mayor Rakowski has gotten almost every time he's run. Every time he's run, he's gotten between 4,000 and 5,000 votes. When he won his council seat, he got about 4,500. When he won for mayor, he got about 4,800. When he lost for mayor the second time, he got the same number.
Got about 5,000
Yeah.
too, I think.
Will he bring the same number of votes to the polls this time around? And if he does, doesn't that make this essentially a three-way race? Isn't that almost a quarter of the electorate that might vote?
Well, it depends on how many people you get. 15,000. They say there may be closer to 20 this time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think
and-
more people are fired up.
Yeah.
I think Richie has a following. There's no question about it.
Is it as big as last time?
And, well, that's another good question. You know, a lot of the people, I know he has support, a lot of the senior citizens and other parts.
See a lot of
the community.
signs going up for
Yeah,
him.
there are signs going up, absolutely. And the other question is, and not to get away from this, but it's a good way to get out of it before I say something, is how many, now that I forgot, how did I...
You know,
had a senior moment there.
it's still a five. It's still a
Oh,
five.
I know what I was going to say.
person
How much will
race?
he hurt the other candidates? That's what I was going to say.
How much will
Oh,
you?
you
That's
mean,
the question. Is
yeah,
how much will
well,
you get the
that's,
other?
you have to wonder how the tickets are
it's-
going to be split because of
Some of the senior citizens
Mr.
that
O'Keefe.
might have voted
Right.
for
Sloan.
Smith, perhaps, might vote for Rakowski.
Yeah.
Yes.
I understand that Halecki ran with Rakowski at one time, and that's when he was first elected to council, ran with Rakowski.
Okay.
And so a lot of people that maybe, I haven't seen Mr. Halecki doing any campaigning, but
No.
it's possible that some of those people might end up going Rich. So I think he's got a shot. Do I see him in second or first place at this point? No. I got to be honest with him, and I told him that. His son asked me, he said, "What do you think of my dad's chances?" I said, "Well, he's in third place, I'd say."
Well, you know, I thought so too. I thought the race was between
Smith and Conahan.
Smith and Conahan. But after tonight's taping, I've never really spoken to him before. But after listening to him tonight, he is really the only one that, and this is from a layman's term, that has a good finger on the budget and the debt. Matter of fact, all the questions that we asked him, he had a very well-rounded answer to give to all of these questions.
Richie he knows the job.
Yeah,
He
I
knows
was,
the job.
I was
He's been
struck.
there, he's
I
done
was
that.
struck at how much hands-on experience he has, and how well versed he is with the budget and the debt.
Yeah, he knows the numbers, he knows the figures, he knows the people. But then Bob Sloan knows the people. I think Mr. Rokicki is a fine man. I think he has a lot of honesty and
Yeah, he's a
integrity.
nice fellow.
We have to get out of this issue and move on to the next. And what you said, Elizabeth, it leads me to my next question for you. The city is facing a crisis with debt. Issue number 5 is debt. Every candidate acknowledged that $400 million in bonded debt. Almost every candidate pointed to the BLRA as a savior to the city and a savior to our problem of bonded debt. Is the debt the problem, or is it really more the way the city operates itself?
Mismanagement. I think, you know, and it's probably too innocent of a thing to say, but I think whoever is in charge of the budget, if they balanced it as how they would balance their own checkbook, you know, have the accountability and the responsibility, the transparency, I think we'd be in a much better place. And I saw that with Mr. Ratowski,
Right.
the way how he handled it, and how he plans to handle it
Well,
is that way.
He's
Rakowski-
a very straightforward guy.
Rakowski
What you
said.
see with Rich is what you get.
Rakowski said he fired people personally. Do you
Yep.
think we're going to have any other people firing them directly? Would any other mayor go into a city agency and say you're fired?
Yeah, that's one of his things. He says, I'm a hands-on guy.
Yeah.
I'm ready to lead from day one.
Well, he certainly has a plan. I see that. He has a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, go on.
I mean, we'll take a break on this, and we'll come back to a third segment because we're going a little long, but I want to get to a couple more issues, so we'll be right back.